Oh boy. So I'm going to let y'all go to the Daily Mail once I decide to show you the article and let you all decide how y'all going to handle this. See, this is why, and this story is an example of why. Before I jump to conclusions, I make a consolidated effort to actually read the article before I jump to conclusions, because sometimes a title doesn't tell you enough. See, there are two people in society that I think in general, because people say there should be no protected groups. I just don't agree with that. If you are a minor child under the age of 18 and if you are elderly, it is just well known that you are society's most vulnerable and that no one for no reason should put their hands on you. Now, maybe if you were going to hurt someone, because these days, these kids will come at you and try to kill you. There have been very little circumstances and very few circumstances where people who are older are in prison as elderly people because they've killed someone. But there are some cases. But we can all mostly agree. See, the elderly person, by God's grace, because I know if you don't believe, I'm sorry, this post is going to upset you, but that's my mention of God. By God's grace, you have lived a good life. You're not going down a street one day thinking somebody's going to come up, stab you, then end up going to court, and then a judge gives them 5 years probation and put them in a mental facility. See, I'm going to put the link to this article below because this affects two different communities, but then it touches on a third thing. Where is the fine line between mental incapacity and accountability? And see, the reason I need to ask this question, because it's a legitimate thing that people hide behind mental illness to rationalize and get out of taking accountability for things. But I'm not going to tell y'all everything. You got to go read this article. Because how do you stab a 94-year-old woman multiple times and claim that you are in a low-handed way, because this is not in the article, but this is what I got from it. Say you don't recall, meaning you blacked out while you did it, when the footage shows or can be construed as premeditation. Because when I first saw the title and I saw the footage and so, the first thing I want to say is I see why Asians are out here marching. Y'all just doing the most out here. And there's been some FBAs doing this to Asians too. This wasn't an FBA, but it was a person of another race. And let's not pretend that doesn't matter, because the Asian community has every reason to believe that. And as much as I am in solidarity that they shouldn't be touched based on their race, the two top things that bother me about this, because she's 97 and in an assisted living facility now. By God's grace, she lived. I'm so happy that she got an ending that still allows her to live and thrive. It's pathetic that she had to go to a facility, likely from stab wounds, but the article don't say that either. That's just me overreaching. The two things that bother me about this is, one, I gotta admit, as I get older, I get more afraid to be older. because your reflexes are down. You don't have as much strength and energy, and it gets increasingly hard to fight back. I mean, she didn't even have a chance, y'all. You're younger and much stronger. You already had the weapon and you came at her. Number two, I can believe, because America's healthcare system is in a crisis to a degree, that sometimes when some people commit crimes, it can be mental illness. And if you're watching this and you're Asian, I'm not rationalizing what he's done, because based on my observation of this, it looks premeditated. So I'm just going to go on and put that out there, that I personally believe that he hid behind his mental illness, and now he's only getting 5 years probation. But for them to sit there and say, San Francisco to say that he should gotten only 5 years probation, I think is bogus. But it goes to my second point. I don't know him personally, and it's entirely possible that he is mentally ill, excuse me. And when this happened, he could have blacked out. What are we doing in American society? What's going on? Because as you get older, you're going to get weaker and you're going to be more vulnerable to this stuff. And no matter your skin color, this is just, wow. I'm not sorry that I'm happy this lady lived. This just gets old. But your sanctuary city nonsense, your ability to be sympathetic isn't going to help you, San Francisco. And even if, like my second point, this guy was mentally ill, who knew that he was, and how long did certain of his family members who may or may not be in the country knew that he had this problem? Because let's be honest, certain communities are very lackadaisical on the whole conversation about mental illness and seeking help. We make this a weakness, and because we make this a weakness, if that is the case, and I have to accept the fact that it could be, innocent people out here gonna keep getting hurt because y'all aren't putting away people who need to be put away. Some people, because of their mental incapacity, just have to be put away for the greater good of all of us. Look, go read the article. If you're asking me, this is premeditated. But there's always a possibility that mental illness did play a role. I'm gonna go take a nap. My head hurts. God bless this woman. I'm glad she lived.